Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining of Two Mindsets. I am D Hill, and we have a very special guest with us today. We'll get to her in just a moment. First, let me introduce somebody who might get upset if I don't introduce him first. My brother, Mr. Izzy. Izzy, how's it going?
Everything going good, man.
Woo.
It's good to see you.
Good to
Those
be here.
are those are new glasses, I assume.
Yeah, I just got them a couple of weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm
All
digging it.
right.
I'm digging the look.
Looking real smart.
Thank you. Looks can be deceiving.
And on the other side of Izzy is the good brother RJ. He's outside camping today. How's it going, RJ?
It's going good, brother. Good to see you all.
Good to see you. New hairdo, I think.
No, just curled it up today. You know,
Oh, shucks now.
you know.
It was good to see you nonetheless.
Thank
Glad
you.
you could join us. And
All right.
everybody has shown up today, and we're happy to introduce someone that's not just from my hometown, but she's also my very first cousin. She is been awarded the Chamber of Commerce Businesswoman of the Year. She is been awarded Volunteer of the Year for Clayton County. She was awarded the Leadership Award by Sigma Alpha Phi. She's a senior project manager for the city. She's an all-around super mom and a person who I think truly cares about people. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Pamela Hooks Francis, or Francis Hooks, my apologies.
Hello, everybody. What's
Give her a
going
hand.
on, people?
It's good to see you. How are you
Good
feeling
to
today?
see you guys. I'm doing wonderful, wonderfully blessed. How's everyone on the panel this morning?
Doing
Feeling
Or
good.
this
good.
afternoon, rather?
So
Doing
did I
good.
Feeling
get all of
good.
that
Glad to
right?
have you.
Did you are you all of those things that I just mentioned?
I try to be, and more if I can.
Right, right.
Yeah.
That and I know that you are. You're an awesome person, and it's a true blessing to have you in my life. And I'm sure that other people feel the same way. So let's start the way I usually start. You're an Atlanta lady now, even though you're from a small town. Um, let's say we pull up to you in the whip and roll down our windows. What music are we hearing bumping from Dr. Pam's car?
Uh, Listen, I'm very eclectic. So I listen to everything from Kendrick Family Soul to Snoop Dogg to Lil Baby to Cardi B, her and the WAP. I'm all in it. Whatever's out there, and I say that because I have a millennial for a son. So
Mm,
he's he's into everything. So in order for me to relate to him, I try to get into everything. So a lot of
okay.
people, when they find out how old I am, it's like you can't be because of the music that you listen to and how you dress. But very eclectic, very eclectic.
Very cool. I think recently you went to a Kendrick Family Soul
I
concert.
did.
How
I
was that?
did. It was amazing. I had never seen them in person, but I have just about everything they've ever made. And actually, next weekend I'm going to see Rashawn Patterson. So I'm that chick. If there's a concert out there, um, even if I've never heard the people, but I've seen the people before, and I want to I go by myself. I don't have to be with anybody. I just love music, period. So
Mm.
that's just me wrapped up into one music and I guess books, because I think the last book I read was the one that you gave me with Anita Hill, and what the little guy, Lenny Kravitz. So
Congrats.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Lenny
Two
Kravitz. Yeah.
very good books, indeed, indeed. And I think we all here try to be readers. RJ is a music man himself, um, so I'm sure that you two have met before. So
I
Yes.
don't. Where
Mhm.
have we?
Yeah, we have. I think it's my
it's the
hairdo.
curly hair. It's
Yeah,
the curly.
it's the curls. Yeah,
My apologies.
that's all right.
Hmm.
Sorry.
I'm
So
forgivable.
So,
Go ahead, Izzy.
Oh no, she was saying she liked music. Have you been to the new atrium in Macon yet?
I have not. However, there is a concert coming up in a couple of months that I stated that I had wanted to go to, and I drive anyway. I've flown to Ohio, to California just for a concert because they weren't coming to Atlanta. So, yeah, my plan is to get to Macon to a concert soon.
It's real nice, so you probably enjoy it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So he mentioned Macon. Tell us, where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Sandersville, Georgia. Um, Born and raised. I consider Atlanta my home. I grew up here and then moved to Sandersville. So Sandersville is where mommy and daddy is from. I actually graduated from high school there in 1985. And so I consider that my home. I don't go back as often as I need to now that my mom is deceased, but that's still home. That's still home to me.
Absolutely. So, how was your childhood there?
Um, I had a good childhood. I had a good childhood. I would say high school was a little challenging for me, only because I was that, as you can see, my face is all is made up. So I was that girl that was a tomboy but loved to wear makeup. So I would always be that the heavier girl on the basketball team, the heaviest girl on the track team, the heaviest girl on the cheerleading squad. I played baseball, basketball, track. So I was coached by Coach Carson, Dartez Talbert, Manzi Broxton, Coach Brown. I don't know if you remember Coach Brown, but Coach Brown coached me in baseball. So I was that girl. I had a bebop walk. Was Janet Jackson on one? Oh, I could be Janet Jackson one day. It could be Prince the next day. So, so my personality in high school is the same as I am now. It's just that I just think I had a little challenge, going through high school. You go through that puberty age, and then you have that group of kids that were what the quote unquote popular kids that didn't see you as the popular kid. But growing up in Sandersville was great. I had a great family. I love family. I'm all about family. And as you know, Deidre, I'm all about getting people together and doing things. So that's me.
Absolutely, absolutely, no doubt. So, who were your parents? Tell us about them a little bit.
Okay, so of course my dad was Freddie Francis, which is you and Izzy's uncle. He was born in Sandersville, Georgia. He's been deceased now a little over 20 years. He was a hard worker. He was um, a guy who did whatever he had to do to make the ends meet. He wasn't perfect. None of us are, but he was that type of guy that whatever he had to do to make the ends meet for his family, that's what he did. My mother, Francina Seals Francis, actually was a nurse. She was a nurse for over 35 years in Washington County, Sandersville, Georgia. My mother's family is the Seals family. I don't know if you, and I know you've probably you know a lot of them, Deidre, but I don't think
Right.
Izzy knows that side of my family. But she was a nurse. We grew up on Oak Street behind Smith Nursing Home in Tybee. They call Tybee in Darktown in Sandersville. And that's basically it in a nutshell. She was a hard worker. Her foundation for me was, you do the hustle, whatever you had to do, as long as it was morally and legally correct. You stood and made a foundation on whatever you needed to do to make it. And that's what she did. She put her own self through nursing school. She worked two jobs while going to nursing school. She took care of me and my grandmother. So she put that in me. And I think my personality and my drive as a professional comes from her. I think that's no doubt, no doubt. So
I just want to say one thing before we move on. Uncle Freddie and Uncle Wayne, they my two favorite uncles. I miss Uncle Freddie. I ain't gonna lie to you. I do. I did. He was
Yeah, he was a
funny.
character. He
Yes, he was. I love Uncle Freddie. I still think about him to this day. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
And
they say I have his personality, as a people person because he didn't meet a stranger.
Yeah.
He always making people laugh, all about having fun, but taking care of business at the same time. Um, so he was a great guy, taken too soon. I think he still had a lot of things here that he needed to do and was trying to do and was in the making of doing those things when he, was taken away from us. But he was a good guy. Yes.
Yes, he was.
awesome. Yeah. And I wanted to dive into that part of who you are, just so people can get an understanding of your foundation. Would you say that
Mhm.
you grew up wealthy?
No, I'm not gonna say I grew up wealthy at all. My grandfather on my mom's side, he had his own business. And I watched him actually set a major milestone and foundation for his kids. He always stated that, you could always work for me. And his sons did work for him. Most of the girls went off to school, of course. But I didn't grow up wealthy. I grew up knowing that I could pretty much get what I want as long as I did what I was supposed to do, if that makes sense. So I wasn't that kid that wanted a lot anyway. you know, I was okay with if I could just play ball or if I could just play sports and
Right.
um, I was cool. And as long as I got my grades, my mother worked to get whatever it was I wanted. I was never they my aunts and them say that I was spoiled, but spoiled with love.
Gotcha.
Not for materialistic things, but I was that child that loved to be home with my grandmama and wanted to watch her in the kitchen cooking and listen to her play the piano and singing. And that was it. That was good for me. So I didn't grow up wealthy. I grew up okay, if that makes sense. It's a difference between okay and wealthy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you played basketball. How long was your basketball career? What position or positions did you play?
I played center and point guard. So I played basketball from the eighth grade up until the 11th grade. And then, of course, and when it's not basketball season, it's baseball season and track season all in the same. During track season, I did the shot put disc.
Hmm.
I actually did a little bit of cross country. And so, even being the person that I was, a lot of people, even if you look back at my yearbooks, I was in the drama club, I was in
Okay.
the beta club, I was, so I was that person that was pretty much in every club that the high school had. I was Miss Foreign Language one year. I was on homecoming court several years. So I kind of was that kid that didn't shy away from doing something because somebody said I couldn't do it.
I believe it. So when we think of a basketball center, we usually think of something, even with the women's centers, they're usually a lot taller than
Taller,
everybody else, but
right.
you're not. So how did you
I'm
become
not
a center?
I'm not taller, but I was a lot larger than So,
Right.
but I do have a vertical.
Okay.
I do have a vertical, but I was a lot larger than most of the centers and point guards. I was quick on my feet. And like I said, my vertical was pretty good. So, and you say, um, and that's what they call the norm, where
Hmm.
you say, okay, well, a center is 6, 5'7", 5'9", 6'2", 6'4", but I, and tried me at a power forward, and that's what my son played, a power forward,
Right.
because of his stature. And so I did that for a while, but I was that person that like to get into their face, you know. So I did a lot of that. So being a center, point guard, and in some cases, just depending on who we played. When we played Waynesboro, Georgia, or either Warren County, I would play power forward because they had really tall centers, but then they had small power forwards. So it
Uh-huh.
just depended on how Coach M and Dartez and Coach Broxton saw the opposing team as where I fit in.
Gotcha. Shout out to Coach Talbot. He's been around a while. I didn't know that
Yes,
he
he
coached you.
has. Yes, he has. And I contribute my love for basketball, I would say, to him because I can remember he called it was after one practice and he said, I want to talk to your mom. And he had a meeting with her just to basically say that he was very proud of me and had never seen someone with the tenacity that I had to want to get out there and play. And I would take the pain, and I could do all of the drills that most of the other girls could do. And and I would always tell me, if you just keep that same attitude about everything that you do, you'll be great. So, and he and I are still friends to this day. I look at him. It's funny because he's older than I am, but I look at him as like a friend now instead of a coach and a teacher back then.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah. Yeah.
Very
So
cool.
I said we're on the same playing field now.
I agree. I agree for sure.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you were a bigger person physically at that time.
Mhm.
So last year, of Two Mindsets had this weight loss challenge. And of
Okay.
course, I won. And even though these two gentlemen, they have not yet paid the agreed upon outing that we were supposed to do,
Ooh,
I found a great
slackers in the bunch, huh? Slackers
I,
in the bunch.
I found a great benefit in the challenge. I lost 30 pounds since
Yeah, you
then,
look
since August
good.
1st. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you agreed.
See
You
it in your
agreed.
face. Yeah.
He looks
Right.
good. I saw him last week. He looks
Right.
great.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You agreed before the show because people don't like men asking women about their weight, but you agreed that we could ask you
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
that. So tell us what you will about your weight loss journey. And can you tell us like where you came from and how far you've come?
Yes. Yes. So I will tell you this. I've always had a weight problem, always, my entire life. And I think that comes from our grandmother's side of the family, our dad's side of the family. Um, and I've always been the larger girl in the group. Um, so when I got married, up 10 years ago, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I topped out at like 400 and some odd pounds.
Wow.
Mm.
Okay. So like Deidre, when you and I were living together, I think I was at my heaviest then. And so my life has, I would say, been a kind of a roller coaster, and so has my weight. So I at one point was at 457 pounds,
Wow.
and then I had got up to like five something. And that came with getting a divorce, depression, not wanting to go anywhere, not wanting to do anything. But I was still working. And so, they always say that, overweight people are lazy, they eat all the time, all the stigmas that goes with that. However, I will say this, that's not always the case. So even at my heaviest, I was very healthy. I never had any medical issues whatsoever, no blood pressure, no cholesterol, no sugar, no nothing. And my doctors could not fathom why I did not have any issues. I still ate healthy. I just was not challenging myself as far as getting active. Okay.
Gotcha.
So let's fast forward 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, I topped out at 376 pounds.
Wow.
And so I was looking at pictures at work yesterday, and they was like, "Who is this person right here at the Christmas party?" And that was December of 2023.
Mm.
And I said, that was me. And it was like, girl, stop. And I was like, you know, that's me. Look at it. And one of the ladies was like, oh my God. So when I fast forward 2 years ago, um, I wound up having a gastric intestinal tear,
Mm.
which is a lining tissue inside of the stomach that is produced by acid. So I had an ulcer that pretty much went into overdrive. So I wound up having to have that repaired. And Deidre, you took me to the doctor went with me to the doctor to have one procedure done.
Right.
And so after that, my doctor was like, hey, let's talk about changing your eating habits. Let's figure out a plan for you so that we don't have to come back to this again. So that December, I decided it's time. It was time to do something. It was time to change who I was. A happy person, not a sad person. Most people
Right.
look at people and they're always jolly and whatever. And there's this, and I'm very transparent. So anybody who knows me knows that I'm very transparent. I don't shy away. I don't hide away from questions, comments, or concerns. So there's a stigma with overweight people that they can sing, they can cook, um,
That's
that they're always happy, that
jolly.
yeah, jolly.
Jolly.
That they're the fun person in the crowd. You can always go to them for everything. But that's a stigma.
Yeah.
And I say that because um, most overweight people, if we could choose not to be, we wouldn't be because of everything that goes along with it, not just health wise, but the stares, the conversations, the
Right.
the nasty looks, or the name calling, and so, and I can remember growing up, I had a cousin that would always call me, that they never called me by my name. And I'm not
Mhm.
going to say which cousin this is, but he never called me by my name. He always called me, oh, that's my cousin. We call her Fat Pam. No, that's not my name.
Wow.
Right. So,
Oh,
and that's
boy.
that's how he addressed me. And so I, I say to I say that to say this is that overweight people have challenges daily. And most of those challenges are mentally and emotional more than physical. And so I'm in a loving relationship with somebody who cares and loves me for who I am, didn't care about the weight, didn't care about what I look like, none of that. But I wanted to change for me. So from December 2023 up until yesterday, I am down 162 pounds.
Mm.
Yeah. So I did that with changing how I eat. I go to the gym. I was going to the gym 4 to 5 days a week, doing the sauna. Most of my workout routine, I did get a trainer. We concentrated basically on cardio
Gotcha.
for the weight loss. And then I went straight from cardio to muscle to tone. So after losing 110 pounds, I had a lot of skin left. So this past winter, I actually wound up hurting my shoulder and had some nerve damage that I had to go to physical therapy for. So I did have the nerve repair, but while doing the nerve repair, I said, well, let me think about, you know, next year having all the skin removed, because with a major weight loss there, you look tight in your clothes,
Right.
but when you take those clothes off, you have a lot of skin. So that's the next thing, so that's my next thing, is to try to, I'm still on the weight loss journey. I was supposed to go to the gym this morning, but I went day before yesterday. Yesterday I do lymphatic massages once a week, and lymphatic massage, drainage massage, actually helps you release any water and toxic detox your body on a weekly basis. So I do that along with working out. I try to eat healthy. I eat in small portions. So, most people say if you eat, you don't eat. The best way to lose weight is not to eat. No, because your body kicks into a memory to say, hey, this person is not eating, so I'm going to go back to the stored fat and I'm going to eat off of that. So your body craves food. You eat what you want. I just say eat in small portions several times out the day. So I may eat 4 or 5 times a day, but it's in small portions, and it's green. My plate is more green than anything else. So I may eat meat, but I eat lots of vegetables. So
Right.
I'm headed in the right direction. My goal is to lose about 40 more pounds.
You might be invisible then.
I don't know. I don't know. I hope not.
Right.
So that's my goal. That goal is to be in um that weight class, probably, hopefully by October. So
Awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Well, like you said, I saw you last weekend. You looked great. I didn't recognize you from the distance until I got close. So, congratulations. And
Thank
that
you.
is
Thank you.
truly inspirational, because a lot of people in our families, they struggle with
Yeah.
their weight, and it's not just a how you look thing, it's a how you feel and a health thing.
Yes,
Smaller people, well, people, obesity takes your life. It can
it
take
does.
your life. You can live a lot longer if you're not carrying all that weight around. That's something that's not an argument. It's not a judgment. It's just is what it is,
It is what it is.
right? Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
So have you
So
been maintaining yours, Diedrich? I know you was talking about your 30 pounds. Have you been maintaining yours?
I I have, but I have hit a plateau. So I am hovering between 239 and 242, and I can't seem to. Well, I won't say I can't. I'm having trouble pushing myself down into the low 230s. So that's what I'm trying to figure out now. I know what I need to do. I just need to get myself pushed, and we're
Yeah,
gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
We're gonna do it together. How about that?
I like
because
that.
I'm about at the same spot too. I think my heaviest was 260. I'm at 242 now. And it's like I still go to the track as much as I normally have. And it's like I can't hit the 230s for some reason. So I'm gonna have to be a little bit more aggressive. So I definitely understand.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We won't ask RJ where he is right now.
Hey, we might need to do another challenge. What you think? What y'all
I'm
think?
cool with that.
We're
I
gonna
want to
talk about that.
think.
That sounds like a plan to me.
All right. Let's talk about it offline. Let's see what we got going on.
Okay.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
Okay.
Um, Dr. Pam, I'm going to call you Dr. Pam for this part of the interview.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that formal education is as important today as it was when we were growing up?
Well, I look at it like this, Deidre. You're talking. I've been out of high school almost 40 years, and I would say with while formal education is remains important, its relevance and perceived value have evolved over the past 20 years. I would say with a growing emphasis on skills, adaptability, alongside traditional knowledge, information technology. I just think that it's not as prevalent as it used to be. I think more and more as we get into this new age thing, that it's going to be more relatable to the young adults having skills and being able to adapt to society in itself. The internet, I would say the internet and online platforms has actually dominated the knowledge and allowing individuals to learn and acquire certain skills independently through courses like there's YouTube University. Somebody mentioned that to me the other day, and I was like, okay, what is that? And so I think tutorials, like I said, I just think that informal learning has overtaken the new generation. Like my son is in school now.
Right.
He's in college for aerospace engineering. Now, we initially thought that, hey, we don't know if he gonna last with this major, because it's very intuitive. It's a very challenging major, and you don't see a lot of us in that profession. And so now I look at him, he's doing other things while he's in college. He's got his LLC already. He's taking some free classes online for business because he wants to own his own business. Now, again, I will say this. I think we all, and when I say all, I don't want to seem like I'm being racist. Okay.
Gotcha.
But when I say I think we all should be able to acquire a certain knowledge to get where we want to be, because I say this, because we as African Americans, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm again very transparent. We as African Americans have to work twice as hard, obtain twice as many credentials as our counterparts to just be considered for half of what they do, what they receive, what they get. And so I tell my son this all the time. I want you to get some type of education. What that looks like for you is for you, because that's something that they cannot take away from you. And I say that to say that if they want us not to find something out, put it in writing. Because when the new age today are not about reading. They want everything microwaved. Everything is quick, fast, and in a hurry. They want things to happen overnight. So they're not reading contracts. They're not reading their letters of employment. They're not reading documents. Everything is so fast paced. I will say that the evolving curriculums in schools are changing the perspective, in my opinion, how education is looked at. That's just my opinion.
Absolutely. I got you. So you have a bachelor's degree, you have an MBA, and a PhD. Is that right?
That's correct.
And you didn't get all of those one behind the other, did you? You didn't like. So, particularly with your PhD, it came a little bit later in life. Would you say that's right?
That's correct. That's
correct. What would you say, given what you just said about non-traditional education becoming a little bit more important, perhaps, and formal education perhaps not being as important to some people. What would you say to a 44-year-old or a 50-year-old who might not have gotten all of the education they think they should have right out of high school? Is it worth it for someone that age in their 40s or early 50s to even consider more education these days?
Of course. And my mother, God rest her soul, used to always say that I am going to be a tradition, what does she call it? Um, I'm a person
Non-traditional?
well, no, that I'm going to be a life learner because I actually um believe that the only way that we can grow is if we know. Okay. Now, what that what that looks like for everybody is totally different. I take a look at now some of the older, more seasoned women that I deal with. They have degrees and they have great education. However, I'm seeing them now going back to some like UGA. UGA offers classes in Microsoft Project. They offer classes in computer programming for senior citizens. So I just think, and when you say senior citizens today are not the traditional senior citizens. You're not
For sure.
talking 67, 65-year-olds. I'm considered a senior citizen because of my age. There are certain perks to being my age. Some places consider me a senior citizen. So I look at it like as if now people are retiring earlier. And so what are we actually financially secure enough to be okay with retiring with what we have and the skills that we have? You're finding out more and more that companies are hiring younger adults and phasing out older employees. And so the skills that you had and acquired 30 years ago, 40 years ago, may not be ample enough for you to even get a part-time job to actually compensate for the funds that you need to just live everyday living. So do I think it's prevalent? Would I say that someone 45, 55 years old, if they wanted to go back to school, should they? Heck yeah. I'm 57, will soon be 58. And I'm thinking about going back to school. I want to go to law school. Now, what does that look like for me in the future? I don't know, but I say if I can do it, why not? You're never too old to learn. You're never too old to grow. If they want to do it, do it. I saw a couple of years ago that there was a young man and his mother that graduated from college the same day. And I think for her, it wasn't about she was trying to get a degree to go get a job. It was something in her that she had always wanted to do and never could afford to do it because she was raising kids, wanted to make sure her kids got off to college, and was busy doing life and trying to make ends meet and was not taking care of herself um, psychologically and emotionally. So for her, that degree, that piece of paper, all she wanted was her piece of paper. And so it all depends on what it looks like for you. I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
So Dr. Hooks, I saw my own mother go back to school and get her bachelor's in her 50s.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the challenges that she had. So what did that look like for you? What challenges did you have while trying to work and go back to school to get your PhD? How did that look for
Listen,
you?
listen, not just the PhD, the MBA, my master's degree. Listen, you're older, and so now I'm looking at I had been at my job for, I think I had been at my job for maybe 20, I don't know, 17, 18 years, and here I go. Um, I'm being passed over for jobs because there are certain criteria that are needed and wanted. They're now requiring you to have a higher degree. So what am I to do now? So here I go. I said, okay, I'm gonna go back to school. I'm gonna get my MBA. I'm gonna get my master's. I'm gonna work this thing out. Then they can't deny me the job that I want. Not, because I'm a female. I don't have this degree. I'm Black or whatever. No more excuses. I have everything: the paper, the knowledge, the skills.
Right.
But the challenge for me was technology.
Mm.
You know, actually getting to understand how to log in the classes online, how to do virtual school and virtual learning, and then trying to work 8.5, 9.5 hours a day, and had a kid who was in every sport there was. Diedrich's been to some of his games. He's, and trying to do homework while he's in practice. I've done that. I would sit in the parking lot. I bought a Wi-Fi box so that I could sit in the parking lot and do homework while he practices. So it's challenging. It's very challenging. However, everything there is a solution for every situation. It just depends on your network. It depends on who you have in your corner behind you. There were days where, I would take Dallas to his to one of the ladies that I were friends with, so he could hang out with her kids, just so I could get a paper done. So I just say, if there's someone out there who's trying to raise their children and go to school at the same time, and finding that they're stressed out, that they don't know if they can do it, they feel by themselves, listen, I'm here from personal experience. Use your resources. Your resources are your neighbors, your cousins, your family. You know, I think one time I had a Deidre might have came to a game or picked Dallas up or something. I don't know, but
Yeah.
you have to use all of your resources. And I'm that type of person, is that I'm that one that will say I can do it all by myself. I don't need the help.
Right.
I'm that person. But in the same token of time, pride pride can be your worst enemy. I tell people all the time at work, we are our own worst enemy. So, and I can remember Mary going back to school,
Oh,
and so, yeah, and so I know the challenges there, and trying to be a mom, especially a single mom, and trying to do it all, it's not easy. And sometimes we miss things. But I would tell you this: my son calculated how many football games he had, and how many baseball games he had, how many track meets he had over about a 5-year span. So he's very smart. He
yeah.
doesn't seem like it all the time, um, but he's very smart, and I love him dearly. And he knows this. He's very smart. So he calculated all of his games, and he says, "Mama," he said, "you only missed one game,
Wow.
one event out of four, well, actually out of 6 years." And that was only because I had COVID. That was because I had COVID. And it was because I made the effort. If you make the effort, I had coaches that would say, "Miss Pam, don't worry about coming to practice. We'll come pick up Dallas, we'll bring him home. No, let me figure it out. I don't want to miss it." And I never missed a practice, a game. I actually came to the game with COVID. Didn't know it was COVID, but I
Shame.
was so sick at the game that I had to leave. And I text the physical trainer for the team, and I said, "Hey, can you asked the coach to bring Dallas home, I just couldn't stay any longer. So it's about challenges. It's about trying to figure it out. It's about using your resources, and don't be afraid to use your resources. Don't be afraid to ask, because you don't know whether or not somebody can do. You don't know if you don't ask. That's the point.
Closed mouth don't get fed.
Exactly.
Listen, I've got a couple of questions. So, one, which all your degrees, what are you doing now? So, are you applying all your degrees currently
I
to
am.
what you do? Okay.
I am. I am a senior project manager 3 for the city of Atlanta.
Okay.
I work under Mayor Andre Dickens.
Okay.
But I am in a unit called DEAM, DEAM, and that's Department of Enterprise and Asset Management. And so what I do, actually, I am partially in charge of infrastructure transportation projects for the city of Atlanta, which basically means if there's a transportation project that includes installation of sidewalks, highway expansion, sewer easements, utility easements from Georgia Power, I'm the person that you come to. So right now, most of my projects are $1 million projects. I have I am actually now in the process of producing a training schedule for all of Atlanta DOT.
Wow.
To actually get them the process down of what I do and how we do it as a team. So any projects that come about for the city pertaining to infrastructure comes through my office. I am the senior person up under the director. I do have a commissioner who actually spearheads a lot of the projects. For instance, Underground Atlanta, we are in the process of reviving Underground Atlanta. And so that
That's good. I hope
includes,
y'all do.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that includes revitalization of the whole area. I am now in the process of restructuring the Central Avenue Bridge before or by the time the World Cup comes. So, so we will start with restructuring the bridge from the bottom up. So we will start underground and rebuild the bridge on top of the new bridge so that there still can be flow of traffic. People's safety has been has been looked at. We have to actually reroute MARTA. We have to reroute MARTA for 11 months. If we reroute MARTA for more than 12 months, then we have to do a whole new route change. So the challenge is timing. I love what I do. Um, I have actually been involved with this type of work for 30 years. And I am just now really loving what I do, really loving what I do.
You have a real positive spirit. Sometimes I find it hard to motivate myself, but just looking at some of your posts on Facebook, what inspires you to inspire others? So, where do you get that? Where does that come from?
To be honest with you, RJ, life.
Okay.
Just life. I tell people all the time, when we know better, we do better. Okay. And I say that to say that because there's no sense in, I say this, and I say this at work every day, and people look at me and say, "You're right, Ms. Pam. Why are we complaining?" There's no need to complain because everybody else is going through something. You're not the only person that's going through something. We are hit with a challenge every day. Just waking up and getting started is a challenge every day for some people.
Yeah.
And I motivate myself in ways of thinking like, I could complain, but there is somebody somewhere that is wishing they had some of the issues that I have. And I say that because I do this with my team at work, and my supervisor gets at me all the time. She says, stop doing so much for people. But what I look at is that I can see you today, RJ, and today you look like you're, relaxing. You're on the back porch. Look like you may have the world at your feet. But when we get off this Zoom, I don't know what your challenges are. I don't know what you're going to be faced with when you get off this Zoom, when you go back in that house. How many envelopes you got on the desk, how many phone calls that's coming through that, hey man, you got to come do this, you got to do this. Yeah, I need you to here, I need you there, you behind on this, we need to see you over here. And so for me, I say, if I can give someone one moment of just peace at knowing you're not by yourself, then that's where I'm at, because I didn't get that. I didn't get that. Hey girl, look, you're not in this by yourself. I had one friend. I was having challenges when Dallas was like 6 years old, 6, 7 years old. And one thing she said to me, she said, listen, this will not last always. You're not the first and you're not the last. She said, so pull your bootstraps up and it's going to be okay. And so for me, I try to say to people all the time, I know that you're faced with something every single day. Everything that we want and desire is not handed to us, but take what you have and build on it. Because it could be so much worse. Totally. You could come home and your lights could be out, but guess what? It could be totally worse than your lights being out. You could come home one day and your water off. Guess what? Your light's still on, but your water off, and it could be worse than that.
That's the worst. It's almost the worst.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's how I look at life. I look at life through, I don't say rose-colored glasses, because that's an epiphany of you running into you not being you're not being realistic. So for me, being realistic is that, Pam, get up, because you've had worse. You've had worse issues. You've had worse situations. Get yourself moving, because it could be worse, and challenge somebody else and make them understand it could be worse. And a lot of people don't want to hear it could be worse. I don't want to hear that. I'm going through mine. I get you're going through yours. But do you realize that somebody else is going through something more challenging than you every single day? And that's how I look at life. I could be outside on the corner. I could be down on Cleveland.
That would be the worst right there.
Yeah, it could be worse.
I want to touch on your education again. So in recent months, there was the hoopla surrounding Dr. Cheyenne Bryant about whether or not she was a real doctor. Prior to that, people were scrutinizing Dr. Umar Johnson's his credentials as well. How do we know that you are a real doctor?
Oh, well, you can easily call Walden University. And I tell people all the time, I say this, a piece of paper can be formulated. I have all my stuff up here in my office. A piece of paper can be can be reformulated. Technology has made it so, AI has made it so that we can recreate whatever it is that we want to recreate, whatever that is for you. But for me, it's too easy. As easy as it is to create those documents, it's just as easy to recognize or to follow up with those documents being fake. Um, I don't know about Cheyenne. I'm be honest with you. I never knew really anything about her until she married Reverend Bryant, you know. Um,
I
and
didn't know
and
they were
being,
married. Wow, that's
yeah,
news to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
So being a life coach, she's a life coach, and anybody can be a life coach.
Right.
Um, I actually took the class, and it's a $599 course.
Mm.
Anybody can be a life coach. What you do with it, it's up to you.
Right.
But for me, I just think that people who um, do not legitimize their credentials, like you said, Deidre, protect your brand. For those who do not legitimize their credentials, I, I think that you work too hard for that. I don't know what her end game is, and it's worked for her.
Yeah.
Now, it's worked for her. Whether or not her credentials are legitimate or not, that's a legal issue. The Whatever school she's claiming that she got her degree from, that could be liable. There's lawsuits behind those things.
Mm.
Um, I don't think that I would want to get caught up in that. I don't think that to me, it's not that crucial to
Yeah.
fake what you're doing,
Why do you think, and I'm sorry for interrupting, but I just
Uh-uh.
have this question. Why do you think people chose to go so in on that? Or why is it so important that a person who says they're a doctor, why do people need to scrutinize whether that's the case or not? Why do you think they went in on her and Dr. Lumar like that?
I don't, I'm not gonna say they just randomly chose those people. I just think that they just um fell into the trap at the time. I think with that being said, it is so much going on as far as education wise, who you're getting advice from, um, who you're at. Because for me, I know that if I'm going to a doctor of psychology, okay, because she's supposed to be a doctor of psychology,
Right.
okay, um, I want to know that the person that I'm going to is certified, trained, and can give me enough advice to not want to harm myself and somebody else. I just think that is the main thing. I just think that when we are looking for help, and when I say help, I mean I truly believe that individuals go to people who have the insignias behind their names because they're the job matter experts.
Right.
If you are a graphic designer, I'm coming to you because you're the job matter expert. Um, I am a project manager. I'm a certified um, project manager. If somebody's coming to me, they're coming to me because I am the job matter expert.
Mm.
So I think it's important that that we that across the board that we acknowledge those who actually put forth the effort and the time and the money to get the credentials. Now, if you're out there saying that you did it, you got a piece of paper that you created. Um, now you have some other issues because you've stepped in some deep water where you can both be persecuted and legally vile for helping people that you had no business helping.
Wow.
Is it worth it? Is it worth it? She has helped hundreds of thousands of people, from what I understand.
Mm.
And if you are not a certified psychologist, do you understand that those people, she could lose everything? And Reverend Brian, who's now her husband attached to her, can now lose everything. So is it worth it? To me, it's not. It really isn't.
Wow. Well, yeah. that clears up, why people might do that. So we're an hour in. We'll move forward on what the things that you are doing now. So you are connected to a group called Mothers Divinely Connected. And what can you tell us about who they are and what they do?
Yes, yes, yes. So, Mothers Divinely Connected is a nonprofit organization. And the organization actually was created by two sisters. One who actually had lost her son in a violent incident, and one who lost their son early on in birth. They, at the time, had not had any idea of what that looked like, losing a child.
Wow. Yeah.
They had never lost a child. So to lose a child and not have resources to help them actually get through their process created Mothers Divinely Connected. So you're looking at, and I've never lost a child, but because I was connected to these two women in a profoundly different way, one of them actually used to be Dallas's daycare provider.
Hmm.
And so I had been profoundly connected with them for about 20 years in different capacities. And when they started this organization, it came out of a need for help, a need for psychological, emotional, spiritual, financial help. And so, what that looked like for somebody who was grieving a child, um, there was nothing, nothing.
Wow.
Um, there was no you. There were grief counselors, but grief counselors don't home in on the loss of a child. A loss is a loss. So if I lost my mother, that was one of the worst traumatic things that I've had ever been through. So I could never imagine losing my son.
Right.
And so we all, parents often say, well, I want to go before my child goes.
Yeah.
And so with this organization, we actually cater to women and to fathers. Actually, we actually have several things going on this year. And so we connect with the family as a whole, because when you lose a child, it not only affects the mother, but that child has a father. And if there are siblings involved, it affects the siblings as a whole. So it affects the family as a whole. And so what this organization does, it actually provides free counseling
Mm.
to the family. Um, per se, more to the mother, because the mother is the foundation of the family. And I say that because, and I'm not slighting fathers,
Mm-hmm.
but fathers keep moving. Fathers keep moving if they can.
Right.
Mothers, they are the ones who get up every morning with the kids, get the kids dressed. They're the ones where the kids come and talk to about everything. They are at all the events. They are the nurturers of the family. So mothers, I'm not saying that fathers are not affected as much as mothers are, but we try to concentrate more on mothers because um, mothers are the foundation of the family. And so, with that being said, we have certified counselors on hand to give 24-hour counseling. We have events for mothers so that they don't feel alone, because there's nothing like needing to talk to someone who's going through exactly what you're going through, but don't have that. So I can talk to a mom who's lost her child all day long, okay? But because I haven't been through that, I don't know what she's really feeling. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so that's why this was put in place. And so we just actually had coffee and conversation in February. And that actually led to us getting with the the community chambers of Clayton County, to get them to help sponsor some of the activities that we do. We pretty much depend on grants and donations for our program. A lot of the things that we do out of pocket. And we're trying to get some grant writers on staff to help us to actually financially be able to do some of the things that we do. We will be having one of the things that we're getting ready to do, June 28th of this year, is have Fathers Grieve Too. And you do not have to be a father who's lost a child. You can be a single dad. You can be just a man with no children who wants to be involved with helping other men. We have men that range from the ages of mid-20s to late 60s in this group.
Wow.
And we're not just in Atlanta. We actually have mothers all across the U.S. So we send out packages to them. And those packages include, it's a welcome package to the program. So when we find out that there's a mother that's lost a child, we first want to know how long has it been, because we don't want to impede on, you just lost your child, a week ago, and here we come. So we work by word of mouth on mothers who've lost their children, fathers who's lost their children. We work on word of mouth. We like to have the addresses of the parents if we can, the age of the child, the reasoning behind the death of the child, so that we can cater those welcome packages directly to that particular person. Some of the things that are in the packages, we get donations. So say for instance, if you are a writer and you have a collection of books just at home, in a box somewhere, we take those donations and add those to our welcome packages. So
Right.
we have members that have jewelry stores that offer, depending on, we had one mother that her child died of cancer. So we do the little bracelet with that particular color of the type of cancer. So it just depends on
Right.
what we have going on, but it's a wonderful organization.
Sounds like it.
And if anybody wants to donate, we have several ways that you can donate. We take Cash App and Zelle. And so our Cash App is Mothers DC INC. And Zelle is Mothers Divinely Connected at gmail.com. So we're taking donations daily. If you know somebody wants to donate, no donation is too large or too small.
We'll be
And
sure
so,
to put that information
yes,
in the description so that people can make those donations if they
yes,
like.
please do. And so if you know of someone who need our services, again, we have certified degree counselors um, on hand to help at any time that our mothers are in need. And this is a volunteer service. These counselors are not being paid. They are doing this on their own time and of their own free will and a mission. Okay.
If people do need that service, a father or a mother per se, how would they reach you? Is there an email address or a website?
Well, they can actually, we're on Facebook, Mothers Divinely Connected, and they can actually reach out to me personally if they'd like to. You can reach me at my email, hooksp0709 at gmail.com. Or you can reach me on Facebook, Dr. Pam Francis. So I am one of their board members, and we are looking for volunteers and members. Again, you don't have to be someone who's lost a child to be a part of the organization. We just want people who want to help and who have a heart to help. That's what we're looking for. Anyone who has a heart that wants to help. That's what we need. We need all hands on deck.
This sounds like a beautiful cause. And I know that you're a great person to have on as a resource there.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, last thing I wanted to talk about, you would consider yourself a world traveler, yes?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
What has been your favorite place to travel to?
I would say Narita, Japan. I went there. The Falcons was playing, and you know how they have their international games. And so
Right.
the Falcons was playing, and I went. I was, and the first time I had um been to Japan, um, actually first time I actually went to a Falcons game, and it was one of the best experiences ever. And
Wow.
so since then, I've done a lot of travel. Of course, we all go to the Caribbean. I think everybody loves the Caribbean. I've done Dominican Republic. I've done a couple of trips to Canada. And I am actually in October. I'm going to Bali and Dubai.
All right.
Yeah, and so I love traveling, and my love for traveling inspired me to become a travel advisor
Okay.
in teletravel, and so I use that uh, that avenue to do my own personal traveling. So I consider I don't know if I consider myself a world traveler, but I consider myself a diverse traveler.
Right.
Um,
Right.
I've been to Taiwan. I love it there. The community there is very open to us, and so I try to go places that I would not normally go. And I love traveling. I don't mind traveling by myself. A lot of people say I would not go out of the country by myself, but I'm not afraid to. Let me tell you something. I saw once, and I know we have to close out, but if, ladies and gentlemen, if you are afraid of traveling by yourself, I'm going to give you a hint. Buy air tags.
Air
Okay.
tags.
Air tags. Okay. And so that way people know where you are, your location 24/7. You don't have to, if, and then I say this because, you know, I wear the weave. For
Never would have
females,
known.
yeah. So females, put it inside of your wig, tie it down. You know, hey, sew it inside of your wig. You know,
That's what I
people
was
say,
about to say, because where are you gonna put the air tag if
yeah, you
if they
listen,
strip you, they strip
right.
you.
For especially females, put it in your wig, girl. Put it in your wig, guys. I would just say, you know, put it in your underwear. Just sew it up in your underwear.
That's really good advice. It's just it's precarious because you don't know where to
Yeah,
put it exactly. But that's some
yeah,
good advice.
yeah. Because
So
most of the time they take your phones. If somebody's gonna take you, they're gonna take your phone. You
right,
know, and I'm very cautious about what I do, where I go, who I speak to. I just left New York a couple of weeks ago, and so my plan is in a couple of weeks after this coming week. The love of my life will be back this coming weekend. So after that, I try to do short trips also. I
right,
made a point last year, 2024, that I would do something once a month. And so I do short trips. I'll drive to Florida, drive to Savannah, or I catch a flight to New Orleans or wherever. Just yeah, I tell people sometimes you just have to break away from the monotony if you can. I don't say, don't use your light bill money to take the trip, but hey, put some gas in your car. Let somebody know, hey, I'm gonna be gone for the day. I'm going to drive to Savannah. Well, what's in Savannah? I don't know. I lived there for 9 years. And for me, it's just the getting away from Atlanta, just getting away from the hustle and the bustle.
yeah,
Sometimes you have to get away and think, get away by yourself and think, or take a partner. Hey, Deidre, let's roll. You know
sure,
me.
sure.
I'm good to roll any day.
Absolutely.
So I love traveling. It frees the spirit to say.
Right.
Do something different. Do something different.
So you said that you are a travel advisor. Are you for hire now? And can the people reach out to you if they need your
Of
service?
course they can. Of course they can. I am on Facebook, Hooks Destinations. If you don't want to look up Hooks Destination, you can always inbox me just on my regular Facebook page. There is a form that I will send you for you to fill out to let me know what you're looking to do. If you're looking for cruises, if you want to do a flight, I have a group that's going to Ghana in a month. So I am helping people live their life at an affordable price. So and for me, it's about the memories. I don't, some people are doing it to make the money. I'm making money, but for me, it's about the memories because that's something you can't buy, and people say, well, yeah, you can if you're paying for the trip. Yeah, but you you can't you can't get um the emotion, the psychological, and the physical that's attached to doing something that you've always wanted to do. This group that's going to Ghana, they've always wanted to go to Africa. They want to do the gate of no return. And the
Right.
gate of no return is that journey that the slaves took. That was the last journey that they took from their home coming to America.
Right.
And it's a castle. And it's a couple of hours worth of tour, but the emotion that goes along with that to actually see where your ancestors were before they came to a country that did not really want them. They just needed them for free labor to pull them from a safety net. That's something you can't put a price on. You can't put a price on that.
Absolutely. Well, Izzy, RJ, do you guys have any closing questions or extra questions for Dr. Penn?
Nah, I'm just sitting here thinking though, every time we have a new guest, I just realize I'm not doing enough.
Izzy, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, man, I'm not doing nothing.
Yeah, listen, you guys are doing you're doing what you can do. Listen,
Whoa,
I meet people where they are.
Right.
And
man.
wherever you are, let people meet you there. It
Mm,
doesn't happen overnight. The person that I am didn't happen overnight.
Right.
I've always been a go-getter type of person. Diedrich and I lived together for years, and
Right.
he'll tell you that I was always a person that was always was doing something, challenging myself. So it doesn't come overnight, RJ. And Izzy, you doing enough, baby. You doing what you can do right now. And there's nothing wrong with what you're doing. You are the boss. You're the boss at whatever it is that you're doing, boo. You're the boss at that. That's
see, that's
important.
that positive inspiration.
But I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell you,
Yeah.
no, I really could be
exude it.
doing more. I really could be doing more, and that's what interviewing you and like the last gentleman we had on make
Tell
me
me that
realize.
from.
Yeah, I have not taken control of my time the way I should. I do things,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, I do this. I work, of course. I do make jewelry and stuff like that. But no, I need to be doing bigger. Like, and it's just motivation. I'm not down or
Oh
anything about it, but it's
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
motivation. Because I was even looking at your resume, and I'm like, damn. I was just, hey, RJ, even just the professionalism of your resume, and I've seen a lot of resumes in my life, including mine. I'm just like, just the way it was put together. I'm just like, it's levels to this stuff, and the level that yours is on, even that just it just boggled my mind. Like, damn. So it's just motivation. It's motivation. I think me and Deidre talk about this a lot, and just it's time to step up.
Well,
So
listen. I am one of those people that I try to do. People have asked me to speak at different events, And I try to do that as well. But I am the type of person, if there's something in your life, or there's an area in your life that you need help with, or you're needing some, I'm a researcher. That's just me by nature. I'm a researcher. I'm a process person. Being an industrial engineer, I am a process person. Everything that I do has a process. And so if there's something, or if there's something you want to do, need to do, or you're thinking about doing, hey, dude, let's get together. I'm always available. There's 24 hours in a day, and I'm up and working 25 of those 24, if that makes sense. So I'm always available for anybody, any organization, any event. I'm just there, because coming from where I come from, if I would have had what I try to give to people, who knows where I would be right now? Who knows how further along I would be right now? And that's my goal, to push people further. That's where I'm at.
And just to touch on what Izzy was saying, that's why I went back to ask you about your parents, about your upbringing, just to show people. And even when uh, Pam let me stay with her when I originally dropped out of, well, I was getting back into college,
Yeah.
but um, resources, she didn't come from somewhere. She was not rich or wealthy. It was hard work. And so that's why I asked those questions. That's why I brought like Telly Renfro. He started from a similar background, and he worked his butt off, just like Pam did, Dr. Pam. So that's why I think these interviews are so important. I think that people will eventually see that this is a foundation. This is a recipe for how, no matter what age you are, you can build something starting from nothing, and nothing is of course relative, but there's a way forward no matter where you're starting from. People get out of prison, decades in prison, and build something.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
there's a way. We all have the same 24 hours a day, just like, you've heard people say. So I think that's why interviews like this are so important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to thank
Well said.
everybody.
Well
Go
said,
ahead.
D.
Thank
Well
you.
said, brother. That's all.
And I want to say this before we get off.
Sure.
I want to thank the panel for having me on. This has been a great experience for me. But I want everybody who's watching this to know that I don't care where you are in your life, where you think you might be in your life, there is no limitation of where you can go and what you can do. You're the only one who can limit what you do with your life. Don't allow other people to say what you can't do. Don't let people say you're too old to do something. Don't let someone say that, oh, that's been done before. Okay, it's been done before, but it didn't do it the way I'm going to do it. So don't allow any person, I call it the noun syndrome. Don't allow any person, place, or thing deter you from becoming whatever it is that you want to become. You're never too old, and you're never too young. Love you.
Well, we love you too.
Right.
Love you
Thank you
too.
again. For everybody out there, if you have found value in this interview and you want to see others, be sure to subscribe. Hit our icon right below the video and hit the subscribe button. And be sure to hit the like button as well. That's very helpful to us. You are watching Of Two Mindsets. I'm D Hill. That's Izzy and RJ. And our guest today was Dr. Pamela Francis-Hooks. Did I get your name right?
You did.
All right. Thank you for joining us. We value you. We appreciate your time. And to everybody else, thanks again, and peace to everybody.
Peace.
Bye, guys.